I absolutely am not storming Area 51.
Oh, why not?
Because aliens are real and I have proof.
Spill the spook tea, sis. Welcome to our trial series on folklore, cryptids, and monsters hiding in this here United States. I felt like a lot of people are always talking about monsters that originate in other countries, and I really wanted to find some that were relatively unique to the United States. We're starting with the alphabetically first state of Alabama. This is the first video on Alabama, and there will be at least one more, so stay tuned.
For now, let's dive into today's set of mysterious creatures lurking in Alabama.
And there will be aliens, right?
Alien abductions. Thank you very much.
I have a lot of experience with that. Too much experience, actually.
Good, then this won't be new to you. We are going to start this Alabama exploration with the Pascagoula alien abduction. I should preface by saying that this story actually takes place in Mississippi.
But we literally just told the audience that this takes place in Alabama. Now we're liars.
I'm sorry. This story very loosely connects to a story in Alabama, so I felt like we had to include it.
Okay, well let me redo the intro. Welcome to our exploration into the alien life of both Alabama and Mississippi because of the small, minuscule connection that is important. Oops.
We are still considering this series of videos an Alabama exploration. Just ignore the Mississippi.
I mean, they're like the same place, right?
Pretty much.
Okay, let's get into it.
So this starts out as your typical alien abduction story, which consists of a couple of people freaking out about an abduction, as usual. 18-year-old Parker and 42-year-old Charles are out fishing in the evening. The sun is going down, and they see a blue light in the sky.
And that blue light isn't the sun. The sun is yellow.
As one knows.
As one knows. Right after, they see a 30-foot object with a dome coming towards them. Pretty typical UFO description, if you ask me.
Even more typical, the object hovers above the water, and 3 small creatures hover out of the object and pull them in towards it. I know I said hover twice, but that is how both the object and the creepers were described as moving, so please bear with me. Interestingly enough, the men felt paralyzed by either fear or something done to them by the aliens. So then they got abducted, obviously.
Yeah, they couldn't fight them because they were frozen with fear.
I mean,
otherwise they could take on the aliens, right?
of course, as one...
Obviously, they totally made that part up.
I mean, fishing rods against aliens.
No, they were like, I was frozen by something the aliens did to me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't try to fight the aliens.
No, I could have taken them.
I mean, if I was like, if my muscles were out, I would have taken them on.
I would have won. Beat down.
So, there is a drawing of these aliens, and they don't look all that small. The whole detailless face is giving me heavy Slenderman, Demogorgon vibes, but I don't know.
Watch Stranger Things Season 3. Very nice.
Good stuff. But watch the first 2, though.
Of course.
There's an order.
Yeah, Demogorgon. It, honestly, to me, looks like a piece of fruit with spikes. An angry fruit, even. Like one of those reptiles that do weird things with their body when they're angry.
Oh, like the bearded dragon, like the puff?
Yeah, like that.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
welcome.
Thank you. Inside the object, the men are subjected to physical examinations and recall a mechanical buzzing sound the whole time. Nothing specific is said about the examinations, but there was probing.
Totally.
Afterwards, they were dropped back onto the boat, and it felt like no time had passed.
Now, we know for a fact that these men ran screaming into the police station and told this story. Each had a 1 puncture wound on an arm.
Yeah, so, like, each one had an arm with a puncture wound. So, like, 1 wound per arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, got it. Just in case they didn't know.
Oh, well,
And, yeah, probably from probes.
probably. As they were abducted.
And probes.
Yeah. The police weren't ready to accept this tale, like good police officers, and went to extreme efforts to prove the men wrong. They couldn't catch them in a lie, and they both passed a polygraph test, so the police ruled it as true.
I should mention that polygraph tests are not accurate and are in fact more likely to prove an innocent person is guilty. Something called a guilty knowledge test, where suspects are tested on their knowledge of a crime, is more accurate. Based on the police attempts to catch them in a lie, I'm going to assume they practiced something that was similar to a guilty knowledge test. But if you excuse all of that heavy information I just gave you, I trust it.
Even if you didn't believe what happened, the men were clearly affected by these events. Parker, in particular, didn't recover well. Right after the event and going to the police station, Parker was said to have bathed in bleach to prevent any infections.
This isn't just first aid to the extreme. He genuinely felt like the aliens had put some foreign illness or object inside of him. Throughout the rest of his life, Parker continued to be paranoid and move around. He was known to skip town when anyone recognized him, constantly running in case the aliens came back.
As real as it seems to Parker, we have to consider other possibilities. First of all, that this was entirely a scam.
Parker was evidently in town to make as much money as possible and go back home and get married. He was doing this through work, but he could have created a scheme to get the money sooner. A scheme that unfortunately didn't produce any money.
However, this doesn't account for Charles's participation or Parker's strange behaviors. Another theory explores a medical explanation. People suspected that this experience was all sleep paralysis with hypnagogic hallucinations.
While this does account for the paranoid behaviors of Parker, this sort of thing doesn't happen in twos. Sleep paralysis is an individual experience and wouldn't happen all at once. It's way too much of a stretch to me, and honestly, if you know anything about sleep paralysis or have even experienced it, you wouldn't accept that explanation either.
I agree. All the specifics of the location too, this just couldn't have happened. However, the story overall very much could have.
This story is a bit conflicting to me. While I don't feel that the counter explanations are any more realistic than the story itself, I haven't seen enough compelling evidence of alien existence, not just in this story alone, but really anywhere.
I do think there is other life out there. I mean, the universe is so vast that there really has to be. We can't just be that special.
And I completely agree, but I just don't think there's enough evidence here to say that aliens have visited Earth and are stubby green people and all of those stereotypical things we think about aliens.
I get what you're saying. I don't really think alien visits to Earth have happened either. But I do feel like that they're out there somewhere.
Unless space is fake.
A simulation.
Indeed.
Of course. Government.
Confirmed. Illuminati? Triangle?
Yes.
Square?
Circle?
Good.
In this very same month, there was more suspicious alien activity. This next story is about the Falkville Metal Man.
Back on October 17th of 1973, Police Chief Jeff Greenhall got a unique call at 10 p.m. This call was about a UFO sighting, the second bizarre alien encounter this month. This one, however, does take place in Alabama because this is an Alabama video, not a Mississippi one. The first, as described earlier, was the Pascagoula alien abduction.
The sheriff investigated this claim and patrolled the area, but found nothing. After driving around the perimeter one last time, he came to face the aforementioned Metal Man. Being the smartest person who encountered a suspected alien, he took a picture.
I love it when logic is involved.
Obviously, the pictures aren't award-winning, so the officer provided a description with it. He said the head and neck were made together. The suit was really bright. The man didn't speak. The man had an antenna. The movements were jerky and mechanical. The suit was kind of wrinkly, and the man was so fast that he seemed to have springs in his feet.
Other than his run-on sentences, others have made assumptions based on the picture. The Metal Man wore a silvery metallic suit that resembled aluminum foil, and some have even claimed that his stature was somewhat childlike.
You're going to want to remember that for later.
Similar to those present in our last story, the officer's life was changed for the worse. He came under extreme criticism and a lot of other bad things.
The worst would be that he was fired, his marriage fell apart, and his home burned down within months of publishing the photos.
This poor dude. I mean, he was just doing his job. Even if this was fake and set up, I don't think he was involved. I really do feel like he saw an alien, like that's what he thought he was seeing.
I think so too. I mean, come on. He had to have known how crazy it sounded, but yet he still continued to try to make people believe it. If he was trying to scam people into thinking it was true, he probably would have gone the extra mile and did something super insane. He lost everything, and he still didn't deny what he encountered. This just makes me think even more that he's being truthful.
Now, how does this relate to the other UFO story?
Remember that comment about childlike stature? Well, this was also said about the aliens that abducted the men in our last story. So, some people believe that this Metal Man was one of those aliens paying another visit to Alabama.
I feel like this comparison kind of hurts the idea that the abduction really happened. When more suspicious events happen so close together, it's hard not to suspect an elaborate prank. And also, I don't see any childlike stature. I don't know where they pulled that out of.
I see what you mean. I personally don't think that these stories are connected. However, I believe that something definitely did happen to both men in Mississippi and to the police chief in Alabama. But I don't think that they're connected. I can see why people think it's a possible prank, but their lives were kind of ruined to different extents, and it was something that all three men never backed down on.
I mean, think about all the effort people put into things today. A basic ARG goes to all lengths to be realistic and mysterious. Why don't a group of people do the same with a little alien scare?
All guesses aside, there were some other things going against the story. People suspected that the metal man was actually a person in an asbestos fire suit.
I completely see it. Like, I don't even think we need to finish the video after showing these side by side. They are practically identical. And someone who hadn't worn one of these before would probably walk funky and mechanical.
If someone saw me in that suit and started taking pictures of me, I would for sure skeet out of there. I may be in the suit, but I don't want someone seeing me in it, that's for sure.
It's like by strange addiction, being in an asbestos fire suit, like you're embarrassed in the woods.
Let me just run away. That man.
Oh my gosh, he saw me in my fire suit.
that man's taking a picture of me. I need to run. Let me yeet myself out of this forest. Let me hit the woe back
my
down
wife
the way.
knows that I'm not working and I'm hanging out in my asbestos fire suit. Oh, the kids. The kids!
She already warned me once.
He's just handling bees. I feel like it's case closed. Like, thanks for watching, guys, but that's a hard hoax.
Although you clearly don't need it, there is one more piece of evidence against this tale. The photos of the metal man were sent to Walt Andrews, a director of Mutual UFO Network. He said that it was most likely fabricated.
And I don't know his credentials. I didn't feel like Googling him. Oops. So we're gonna skip past all that. So did this happen? There is a correct answer.
I don't know what it is, but it probably isn't true whether the cop knew it or not.
There's one more question that hasn't been resolved.
And that is?
Who burned down the police chief's house?
Me. I did.
Oh.
But I'd love to hear your thoughts, because I definitely didn't storm Area 51 and went to the past to burn his house down.
I don't know. So you think there's like a time, like some sort of portal? Like, to go back
I'm
in
saying
time?
that I didn't do that.
So like you went to Area 51 and there's a place in there where you can... That's what you think is in Area 51? Like a portal to go back in time?
I just said I didn't
Is
do
that
it.
what you think is in there?
I
Is that
mean,
what you're implying by that vague statement? Because I love that and I never even thought about that.
Of course I'm implying
So
that.
the aliens can time travel.
The aliens can do whatever
And that's
they
why they're
want.
green. Because
Exactly.
green is like the aesthetic in the future.
Exactly.
Because like
Everybody's wearing green.
because all the plants are dead.
It's like in early 2000s when all like the felts.
I was thinking the plants were like dead, so they like love green because it's you have to be rich.
Oh, you're right.
Like you got a
Yes.
tree, you're wealthy.
That was good.
Excuse me.
Should we be rappers instead of YouTubers?
Anyhow,
I agree.
well, I have a couple of theories.
That are.
The wife could have done it, and I don't think there's any reason to explain why. And it's the wife.
Of course.
She could any reason. It's a wife. I'm crazy.
She's an
It
arsonist.
could have been me. And or he could have done it because he needed money. We all love a little insurance fraud. Or the townspeople did it because angry mobs love to take down authority. And who better than that darn police chief? Now I have one more theory, probably the most realistic, if we're playing devil's advocate here. The aliens did it. And I'll just leave it at that.
It's genius!
Unfortunately, that is all of the Alabamian monsters we have in store for you today, but I feel that there was plenty in there to reflect on. So, Ayana, what did we learn today?
First of all, get married while you still can. If you don't have the money for a big ceremony, settle for eloping. You don't need that. You never know when you or your fiancé could be probed out of your life, so cherish the little moments.
Also, wear your tinfoil in Alabama. Aliens clearly are a fan of the state, so take extra precaution. You probably won't be the only person decked out in tinfoil from head to toe, so no worries. Also, don't forget to cover your car just in case.
If you have an encounter of the extraterrestrial kind, maybe don't tell anyone. No matter how credible you are, a police chief or a teenager, there will never be enough people who believe you. Some things can stay secret. Now, if you aren't a fan of your job, wife, or house, then go right on ahead.
Whether you tell anyone or not, do pay a visit to your therapist. Getting over both the event itself and the horrific backlash might take a little more help than you'll have around. You'll definitely want to skip right over that rough patch and onto writing some novels on your experience. Although I don't know if that would make a whole lot of money, you should still do it.
And, in all seriousness, consider all sides of a story. As much as you may or may not want to believe a tale, facts are always important. Which leads to the very last question that we will address in this show. Do we believe in these tales?
This is a tough one for me. With the first story, I don't think that there's an explanation that I accept or that I really like. So, by default, I guess the first one could be true. The second one, however, is definitely fake. There was a man in an asbestos fire suit. Now, if there is a species of aliens that enjoys running around in asbestos fire suits because they're from the future and that's what's popular, then there might be an argument.
I agree about both of your statements, and like I said before, even though the police chief's life was basically ruined, he never backed down from his story, so I honestly think he believes he saw some type of alien, as it was dark, and all he really had was a picture of a metal man.
So the moral of the story is that the police chief was a chill dude and some disrespectful teens ruined his life. So it's not a spooky video, it's a sad one.
While the stories of random Alabamian men about aliens are debatable, do you know what we can take to heart?
Dr. Phil's advice?
Yes, but no. Comments! Welcome to the portion of the show where we list lots of questions for you to respond to in the comments. So do it, or else.
Did you like the video?
What was your favorite part?
What should we fix for next time?
And what other topics do you want us to cover?
Have you tried Berry Pepsi?
Do you know that Berry Pepsi is amazing?
Are you going to buy Berry Pepsi?
You need to buy Berry Pepsi.
Question mark.
Okay.
And this concludes the questions to respond to in the comment section segment.
However, this does not conclude the video. We obviously didn't get a fantastic amount of views on our last video, as expected, so if anyone is watching this, we really want to know what you think. I mean, the less of you there are, the more your opinion matters.
Your stories also matter too. Share your personal spooky stories with us via our email linked in the description, which we do check daily.
Hourly even.
So gently smash that like button in order to like the video, but also keep your phone intact.
And smack that subscribe button, preferably with your forehead, to make sure you know about every video we do.
We are trying our very best to upload weekly, and your support makes it even more likely.
So, until next time.
Bye!